Welcome to Reddit After Hours. This is r/Trueoffmychest, where OP admits to anonymously outing his own brother as a cheater and loses his brother in the process. Our first Reddit post comes from Single University 489, titled, "My dad expects me to take care of my siblings, and I said no." My mom and dad divorced when I was younger and have since remarried. My brother and I are now old enough that both pairs have started to have the "if something ever happened to us" conversation. My mom and her new husband don't have other kids. My dad's new wife has 3 kids of her own, and I think the two are planning to have a kid together. I'm the oldest of all of us. I try to be polite and friendly to my stepfamily, but I don't see them as my siblings. By the time Kara, my stepmom, and my dad met, I was already an adult, moved out, and didn't live close to home either. They're also more than 10 years younger than me. I try to be nice enough, but I just don't know them well. My step siblings also have special needs that require a reasonably high amount of maintenance, which will become relevant later. Dad and Kara are both clear that if something were to happen to my step siblings, they want me to take them in. But I said no. I don't have the time or the energy. My job pays decently, but not enough for me to support 4 on a single income, and my place isn't big enough. All of this is also compounded by their special needs. I don't have the time or the energy to meet those. My insurance isn't good enough to cover their care either. Even with good insurance, I probably couldn't afford their meds. It's just not an option for me. Dad and Kara have said that now I'm ableist for refusing to take them in because some of my concerns are related to their needs. I want to make it clear that my concerns were about my ability to support those needs. When it comes to their needs that I could support, I didn't bring them up. My step siblings also have other people who are willing to help, including aunts and uncles who have volunteered to take them in if needed. They have somewhere to go. It's not like I'm putting them out on the street, and again, I don't have the resources to support them. They did say that if I took them in, I would get the house, which kind of solves my living situation. However, I couldn't commute to my current job, and it's unlikely that I could find one locally. I'm not in an easy position where it's easy for me to find a job geographically. I might get the house, yes, but I'd lose the ability to support myself. Maybe this would be worthwhile if I felt close to them, but it seems like they're just virtually strangers to me, so I just don't. Dad said that if I refused to take them in, I would lose my inheritance. I've said, that's fine. Put it in a trust fund for my step siblings' care. I'm not rich, but I don't need their money either. It'll help whichever family member does take them in. For context, all of Kara's 4 siblings are willing to, so again, I'm not turning them out to the streets, but I'm not taking them in. I just don't have the resources. I should also note that I'm a woman and my brother is a man. When we're home over the holidays, I'm always the one that my dad expects to help around the house. My brother, Chris, never is expected to help. Chris also makes more money and has a more stable job and has enough space and isn't thrilled about taking my step siblings in either, but is open to it. My dad has never put any pressure on him to take care of them in any capacity. I'm older, but we're both in our mid-20s. We're very much adults. Chris would be a reasonable option, but is never brought up as one. Also, his concerns were similar. Resources, particularly related to the step siblings' special needs. And, surprise, surprise, he's never been called ableist by my dad either. Dad has also never threatened Chris's inheritance. Just a lot of misogyny here that women in the family are expected to take care of others, and I just hate it. OP, the harsh reality is that at the end of the day, they're not your responsibility. They're your parents' responsibility. And you're right, they have a lot of options for people to take care of them and a lot of people that are willing to take care of them. So, you shouldn't feel bad. Although your dad definitely sounds like a misogynistic butthole, OP. Our next Reddit post comes from Throwaway76228, titled, "My girlfriend's daughter has me reevaluating our entire relationship." I'm expecting a lot of judgment on this, but I don't really have anyone in my day-to-day life to talk to about this, so here we go. I'm a 23-year-old male and have been with my girlfriend, who's 33, for about 3.5 years now. We met as students, her having gone back to college, and have lived together for about 2.5 years now. We also live with my girlfriend's daughter, who we'll call B. Now, for a bit of backstory, I'm a student at the moment, and the house that we live in is my girlfriend's. She does a lot of the heavy lifting financially at the moment while I finish up school. She is a bit domineering in general, which I'm okay with because I'm a bit more passive and unassertive, and I have always had a good relationship with B so far. Lately, however, something's begun to shift with B and I. It started with how she began to speak with me. Hey, I need you to take less time in the shower from now on, or hey, I need a sandwich made for 6 instead of 6:30. I'm getting hungry earlier than you. Little things, but putting in a demanding way. I dismissed it as teenager stuff at first. Then it escalated. She started demanding things of me and laughing about it as if mocking me, making me clean her room, give her a little bit of money, that sort of thing. Again, I bit my tongue, not wanting to cause trouble or anything. Finally, I had to speak with my girlfriend about her behavior when she started to freely wear her undergarments around the house and nothing else. I calmly told her that I'd rather she not do that, and she just laughed in my face. To me, it crossed a bit of a boundary, especially with how she's been so domineering lately. And no, I'm not a pedo. This is not what made me uncomfortable. I believe she's gotten too comfortable just in general, and this was a reflection of that. This was the final straw to me. My girlfriend's response was a laugh, and she said, her house or her rules. I don't feel like I'm being unreasonable, but maybe I am. I just feel like my relationship is doomed if I'm being treated like a second-class citizen in what is supposed to be my home as well. I'm sorry for the rant. I just don't know where else to turn. OP, I don't think you're being unreasonable here. If I had a daughter, like if I was in your girlfriend's position and like I were your girlfriend, I wouldn't want her wearing underwear in the house just in front of a bunch of men. Like even if it were her dad, I still think like, I don't know, that would kind of be weird at a certain age. And I think 14 is kind of that age where it's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't want that to happen either. Like, you know, it wouldn't be appropriate for you probably, you know, presumably to walk around the house in your underwear. But I don't know, Pete. It seems like maybe she's trying to take on the same role as your girlfriend because, you know, she seems that she can be domineering to you. So maybe she's trying it as well because she thinks that she just can and she knows that there's no consequence to it. But, you know, that's definitely a conversation you got to have with your girlfriend. And if you guys can't come to a compromise, I don't know, Opie, it might be time to think about a new living situation. You know what I mean? Our next Reddit post comes from NoComposer8222, titled, "My brother keeps setting me up for abuse from my mom, and I don't know if it's intentional." For context, my mom hates my dad, who's 65, with an extreme, almost irrational amount of resentment. I was never allowed to see him after their divorce, and my mom has always been abusive towards me, accusing me of trying to, quote, steal my dad from her, even when I was a child. Meanwhile, she worships my brother and treats him like a king, which is common in our culture. Growing up, my brother bullied me, but as adults, he seems to have changed, or so I thought at least. He encouraged me to reconnect with my dad, even telling me to sneak out to go visit him, knowing full well that my mom would explode if she found out. Recently, my brother has been spending a lot of time at my dad's restaurant, let's call it Bo's, because he gets free food there, and he kept inviting me to come. I resisted at first, but eventually gave in because I just needed a break from home, and I could actually study and eat there. But here comes the problem. Every time I go, my brother immediately tells my mom. He asks me to go, then waits until I do, and then betrays me. The first time he blurted it out in front of a cousin, and my mom lost it on me. I blocked him for a week, but eventually had to forgive him since we still live together. I thought maybe this was just a mistake. Then it happened again. This time he acted super nice to me all weekend, made me breakfast, and even walked me to my car before we were supposed to meet at Bo's. Then, at the last second, he bailed on me, saying that he's studying at home, something that he never does. I went to Bo's alone, and 4 hours later, he called me. As soon as I picked up, my mom's voice came through the phone asking, "Where are you?" And before I could even lie, he said, "She's at Bo's." I don't understand why he keeps doing this. He used to hate my mom and call her crazy, but suddenly he's been defending her, saying that she's just, quote, mentally ill and that we should, quote, pray for her. It's a complete 180 from how he talked about her just weeks ago. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because he struggles with school and responsibilities, and I suspect that he may have a learning disability. But at this point, I'm not sure if he's just naive or if he's actively trying to set me up. What do you guys think? Am I overreacting or is this deliberate? OP, this 100% sounds deliberate. And, for those listening, for context, the brother is not like some teenager. He's 32 years old and OP is 26 years old. Why, at 26 years old, does your mom even care who you hang out with? Like, your mom, at the end of the day, like, your mom's 60, you're an adult, you're 26, and your brother's 32. She has no say in who you go see. So if you want to go see your dad, you're free to go see your dad, or anyone else that you want to, for that matter, because you're an adult. Like, I understand she has that hatred towards him, and, I don't really know the backstory there, but still, you have every right to go see whoever you want. And your brother, I don't know if he's just getting off on you getting in trouble or just likes the drama or whatever, but it absolutely seems intentional. He's 32. He's not some teenager. He absolutely knows what he's doing, and he's being a complete butthole with this. Why? I have no idea. My only thought is he just loves the drama. Our next Reddit post comes from BlondiePoo95, titled, "Should I tell my brother that his best friend, quote, tried it on me?" For context, I'm not upset about this, and I actually think it's kind of hilarious because the kid, who we'll call Jay, is 16. My brother and his friends are a fair bit younger than me. I came in a little tipsy from an evening night out and saw my brother has some friends over. So I gathered some snacks from the kitchen and scampered right up the stairs. I heard Jay tell them that he was going upstairs to brush his teeth. What a liar. And then he came into my room and started asking if I had seen this TikTok video. He sat down next to me on the bed and we watched a couple and laughed. I know him quite well from over the years, and I honestly didn't feel threatened by this. However, this is when he moves in for a kiss and slides his hand up my thigh. I obviously pull back, slap his hand away, and ask what he's doing. He says, "What does it look like I'm doing?" and goes in for it again. I laugh uncomfortably again and remind him of our age difference. He looks me straight in the face and says, "Just because you're 6 years older than me doesn't mean that I wouldn't bang you." And of course, I told him to get the hell out of my room, and luckily he did. Do I tell my brother about this? Because I actually think it's kind of funny, but I know guys get really weird about this kind of stuff, like protective and stuff, and I don't want to start a fight between them. OP, that's a tough one, because although he is your brother's friend, like, he did try to make a pass at you, so I don't know, like, maybe he does deserve to know a little bit, but if you think he's a good kid and you think that's kind of like a one-off type deal, like, I don't know, OP, you don't seem too bothered by it, and what matters is how you feel. And if you feel the need to tell him and you think it's something he should know, then by all means. But if you don't care, then hey, it is what it is. Our next Reddit post comes from Zealous Ideal Key 1559, titled, "I anonymously told my sister-in-law that her boyfriend cheated. Have I done the right thing?" Reddit, please help. I'm filled with guilt, and I need to know if I've done the right thing or if I should have just stayed out of it. My brother cheated on his long-term girlfriend with a close family friend of mine after a party we went to together. Once I found out, I knew my brother wouldn't own up and tell his girlfriend, and the friend definitely wouldn't either. I made the decision to anonymously message his girlfriend to tell her. Turns out, instead of being angry at her boyfriend, she's mad at me for taking him to the party and, quote, not stopping it because the person that he cheated with was a close friend. She still doesn't know that it was me that sent the message. She's just blaming me for not stopping it now. She's pretty much cut me and my kids off from my brother and his kids. We aren't allowed to hang out or message each other at all because she blames me for not stopping it and being friends with the other person. For context, on the night, I had been drinking a lot and was having a good night. I didn't really pay attention to what my brother and friend were doing. I didn't realize until we woke up the next morning and the two walked out of the bedroom together. I couldn't have stopped this even if I wanted to. Anyway, I really miss my brother, and I honestly regret even telling her. Did I do the right thing, or should I just have stayed out of it? OP, I like these 2 comments from the comment section. One is, your brother was likely gaslighting her, and now she's gaslighting you. The second is, either that or this woman is in deep denial of the fact that the father of her children cheated on her, so she's blaming her brother-in-law to avoid dealing with the fact that her family is now fundamentally broken. OP, for what it's worth, I don't think you did anything wrong here. For one, like, you didn't even actually, like, name yourself in the message. Like, so she could be, if she wanted to, she could be angry at this random anonymous person, yet she's choosing to deflect the blame still at you, not even knowing that you were the one that sent the message. And secondly, I think that people just fundamentally have a right to know when they're being cheated on, or people are breaking that trust behind their back, because I just know that if someone were doing that to me, whether they were involved, whether it was like a store clerk or, whatever, I would want someone to tell me, because I don't want to be out here looking like a fool, right? So it sucks, and hopefully your brother will come back to you one day and realize, the mistake that he's making by allowing her to make him cut you off. But it's just going to suck in the meantime, OP, but hopefully he'll come around. But for what it's worth, OP, I don't think you did anything wrong here. That was Reddit After Hours, bringing you r/TrueOffMychest. Thank you all so much for listening, and if you like these videos, like and subscribe, as we post a new Reddit video almost every single day.